There's a question nobody asks successful people. Not how did you make it, but how many times did you almost quit? Because here's the truth. They don't put in the Instagram captions or the TED Talks. Success isn't about never falling. It's about getting up one more time than you went down. And if you've failed so many times that you're starting to believe maybe success just isn't for you, maybe you're not built for this, maybe everyone else was right when they told you to quit, then you need to hear this story. Because this is about a man who failed 9 times, lost everything, became a joke in his own family, hit rock bottom so hard he couldn't see daylight, and then built something that changed his entire life. His name was Mateo. And if you've ever felt like giving up, stay with me until the end. Because what he learned on attempt number 10 will change how you see every failure you've ever had. Mateo Reyes was 31 years old, and he was tired. Not the kind of tired you fix with sleep, the kind that sits in your chest when you've tried everything and nothing worked. He'd grown up in a working-class neighborhood. His father was a bus driver. His mother cleaned houses. They weren't poor, but money was always tight, always a calculation. Mateo wanted different, not because he looked down on his parents, but because he wanted to prove that someone from his background could build something, could create, could win. At 23, he started his first business, a car wash service. Mobile. He'd come to your house, wash your car, charge $20. Seemed simple. It wasn't. 3 months in, his equipment broke. He couldn't afford to replace it. Business 1 failed. At 24, he tried selling refurbished laptops online, bought 10 units, sold 2, lost $800. Business 2 failed. At 25, a coffee cart downtown, great location, terrible execution, couldn't compete with the established shops. Business 3 failed. At 26, a lawn care service. At 27, a personal training side hustle. At 28, a print-on-demand t-shirt store. Failed, failed, failed. By 29, Mateo had tried 8 different businesses. 8 times he'd believed this is the one. 8 times he'd been wrong. His friends stopped asking about his projects. His family stopped pretending to be supportive. His younger brother, who'd taken a stable job at an insurance company, said it at Thanksgiving dinner. Mateo, maybe entrepreneurship just isn't your thing. There's no shame in getting a regular job. The table went quiet. Mateo said nothing. But inside, something broke. Because his brother was saying out loud what Mateo had been thinking for months. Maybe I'm not built for this. By 30, Mateo was working 2 jobs, stocking shelves overnight at a warehouse, driving for a rideshare app during the day, sleeping 4 hours, surviving, not living. His savings were gone. His credit was ruined. He lived in a studio apartment that smelled like mold and broken dreams. And late at night, when the city was quiet and he couldn't sleep, Mateo would stare at the ceiling and ask himself the question that haunted him. Why do I keep failing? One Saturday morning, exhausted and defeated, Mateo went to a diner, the kind of place where coffee is cheap and nobody asks questions. He sat in a booth in the back, ordered coffee, stared out the window. At the table next to him sat an older man, maybe 60, reading a newspaper, calm, present. Mateo didn't mean to eavesdrop, but the man was on a phone call, and the conversation was impossible to ignore. No, don't shut it down yet, the man said. Listen to me. You're in month 7. This is exactly when it feels hopeless, but you're right on schedule. Give it 5 more months. Trust me. He hung up, noticed Mateo watching. Sorry, Mateo said quickly. Didn't mean to. You look like someone who's thinking about quitting something, the man said. Mateo laughed bitterly. How'd you know? Because 30 years ago I had the same look. The man introduced himself. His name was Daniel Ortega. Retired now. Used to run a logistics company. Sold it 5 years ago. Mateo didn't know why, but he told him everything. The 8 failures. The debt. The humiliation. The exhaustion. Daniel listened without interrupting. When Mateo finished, Daniel asked a single question. Do you want to quit because you're actually done? Or because you don't know how to win yet? Mateo felt something shift in his chest. What's the difference? Everything, Daniel said. If you're done, truly done, then stop. Go get a job. Build a different life. There's no shame in that. But if you're quitting because you don't know how to win, that's different, because that can be fixed. Mateo stared at him. I've tried 8 times. And you learned 8 lessons, Daniel said. The question is, did you actually learn them? Or did you just repeat the same mistakes with different products? Mateo had no answer. Daniel pulled out a pen, drew something on a napkin. I failed 9 times before my first success. Lost my house. My wife almost left me. I was a joke. But on attempt number 10, I did something different. I stopped treating failure like a tragedy and started treating it like tuition. He slid the napkin across the table. This is what I learned. This is what separates people who fail forever from people who fail forward. If you're serious about trying again, meet me Monday morning, 6 a.m. I'll teach you what I wish someone had taught me. Mateo looked at the napkin. 3 words written in block letters. Pattern. Patience. Precision. What does this mean? Mateo asked. Daniel smiled. Monday, 6 a.m. My address is on the back. Don't be late. Monday morning, 5:45. Mateo stood outside Daniel's house, a modest home in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing flashy, nothing that screamed successful entrepreneur. Daniel opened the door. You're early. Good. That's the first sign you might actually make it this time. They sat in Daniel's home office. Shelves lined with books, a whiteboard covered in notes, and on the wall, a framed list of 9 business names. Each one crossed out in red. I keep that to remember, Daniel said. Now, let's talk about why you keep failing. He turned to the whiteboard. Most people think failure is random, bad luck, wrong timing, wrong market, but it's not. Failure follows patterns, and if you don't identify your pattern, you'll just keep repeating it. Daniel wrote, pattern. Tell me about your 8 failures, not what went wrong externally. What did you do wrong? What was your pattern? Mateo thought, I didn't do enough research. I ran out of money too fast. I didn't have a real plan. Stop, Daniel said. You just described the same mistake 8 times with different words. Your pattern is this. You chase ideas without building systems. You sprint without a map. You're all gas, no foundation. He drew a simple diagram. A car with a huge engine, but no steering wheel. That's you. Tons of effort, no direction. So you crash. Every time. Mateo felt exposed, but Daniel wasn't judging. He was diagnosing. Here's what we're going to do. Daniel said, I'm going to teach you 3 principles. These aren't motivational, they're structural. If you apply them, you won't guarantee success, but you'll guarantee you stop repeating the same failures. Principle 1, pattern recognition. Before you try again, you need to map your failures. Write down every business you tried, what you did, why it failed, what the common thread was. Most people avoid this because it's painful, but if you don't study your losses, you're just gambling with different dice. Daniel handed Mateo a notebook. Tonight, you're going to write a failure autopsy for all 8 businesses. Not excuses, facts. What did you do that caused the failure? Then tomorrow you show me. We extract the pattern, then we design your next attempt to avoid that pattern. Principle 2, the 12-month commitment. How long did your longest business last? Daniel asked. Maybe 5 months. Mateo said. Exactly. You quit before the hard part ended. Here's what nobody tells you. Every business has a valley of despair. It's usually months 4 through 9. Revenue is low. Progress is invisible. Your brain screams at you to quit, and most people do. Daniel drew a graph. A valley dipping down between months 4 and 9, then rising steeply after month 10. If you quit in the valley, you never reach the climb. So here's the rule. Commit to 12 months. Not 12 months of trying. 12 months of execution. No matter what. Even if it looks like it's failing. Even if people laugh. 12 months. Can you do that? Mateo hesitated. 12 months felt like forever. I don't know, he said honestly. Then don't start, Daniel said bluntly. Because if you're not ready to commit 12 months, you're just setting yourself up for failure number 9. And I don't waste time on people who waste their own potential. Mateo felt the weight of that. Okay, 12 months. I commit. Principle 3, precision over ambition. What industry were you planning to go into next? Daniel asked. I don't know. Maybe something online. E-commerce. Drop shipping. Something scalable. Daniel shook his head. That's your problem. You're chasing something. Vague ideas, big dreams, no precision. He wrote, one problem, one solution, one customer. Your next business will succeed or fail based on this. Can you solve one specific problem for one specific type of customer better than anyone else? Not 10 problems, not all customers. One problem, one customer. Precision beats ambition every single time. Daniel leaned forward. For the next 2 weeks, you're going to do research, not start the business. Research. You're going to find one problem people are willing to pay to solve. Then you're going to design one solution that solves it better than anything else. Then you're going to commit 12 months to executing that solution. That's it. That's the entire formula. Mateo left Daniel's house that day with a notebook and a clear mission. For the next 2 weeks, Mateo researched. He talked to small business owners. He read forums. He studied competitors. And he found something. Small service businesses, plumbers, electricians, landscapers, were terrible at online booking. They were losing customers because people couldn't schedule appointments easily. One problem, inefficient booking systems. One customer, small service businesses. One solution, a simple, affordable booking software specifically for service businesses. Mateo showed Daniel his research. Daniel read it, nodded. This is good, focused, specific. Now, build it. You have 12 months starting today. No excuses, no pivots, no quitting. Mateo launched Service Slot, a basic booking software, $50 a month, built specifically for small service businesses. Month 1, 0 customers. Month 2, 1 customer, a local plumber. Month 3, still 1 customer. Mateo's old doubts crept in. This isn't working. Maybe I should pivot. But he remembered. 12 months, no quitting. Month 4, 2 customers. Month 5, lost the plumber, back to 1 customer. This was the valley. Mateo felt it. The urge to quit was overwhelming, but he kept going. Month 6, 3 customers. Month 7, 5 customers. Month 8, 8 customers. Month 9, 12 customers. Something was happening. Slowly, but happening. Month 10, 20 customers. $1,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Month 11, 35 customers. Month 12, 52 customers. $2,600 a month. It wasn't massive, but it was real, profitable, growing. For the first time in 9 years, Mateo had built something that didn't collapse. He called Daniel. 12 months. I made it. Daniel laughed. Now the real work begins. Year 2. Service Slot hit 200 customers. $10,000 a month in revenue. Year 3. 500 customers. Hired 2 employees. Year 4. 1,500 customers. 35 employees. $750,000 in annual revenue. Mateo, now 35, stood in his small office and thought about the man he'd been 4 years ago. Broken, defeated, ready to quit, and he thought about the 9 failures that had brought him here. They weren't detours. They were the foundation. Here's what Mateo learned, and what you need to hear. Lesson 1. Your failures aren't random. They're a pattern. If you keep failing the same way, it's not bad luck. It's a blind spot. Study your losses. Find the pattern. Then design your next attempt to avoid it. Lesson 2. Most businesses don't fail. Most people quit during the valley. The valley is months 4 through 9. It looks like nothing's working. But that's exactly when the foundation is being built. Commit to 12 months. Not 12 months of hoping. 12 months of executing. Lesson 3. Precision beats ambition. Stop chasing big, vague dreams. Solve one specific problem for one specific customer. Do it better than anyone else. That's the entire formula. So here's my challenge to you. If you've failed before, if you're thinking about trying again, if you're not sure you have it in you, do this. Write down your failures, all of them. Then study them. Find the pattern. What did you do wrong every time? Then choose one problem, one customer, one solution. Then commit to 12 months. No matter what, no quitting in the valley. Because the version of you that succeeds, that person isn't born talented. They're forged through failure. And your 9th or 10th or 11th attempt might be the one that changes everything. So don't quit. Just learn, commit, execute, and get back up one more time.